Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and to the first of hopefully a few videos I'm going to shoot with the new Audi e-tron Sportback, because I need to do a journey today of just shy of 250 miles. It's super cold, so I thought it'd be really interesting to take the Audi because I don't think I'm going to get there without charging. Now, before we get going on the Audi, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that car. Yes, the McLaren 620R is still with me. Sadly, it is being collected a little bit later, but it's been great. Hopefully by now you've watched the film I did with that. Let's just talk a little bit about this e-tron and the plan I have for the video ahead. Now, I've had this car about a week now, but this is the first film I've actually shot with it. It has been on charge. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, I'm just on a 3-pin granny charger. One of the plans I had when I got this film was to get a wall box, proper wall charger, 7 kilowatt charger installed. However, supply problems have hampered that one in a big way. So rather than having a home charger at 7 kilowatts to charge this thing, sadly, I'm running it off a granny charger, which really isn't great. But I need to do a journey today with work. I have a good reason before anybody has a go, and I need to get there. So I'm going to take the e-tron. I'm going to do a couple of other videos on this. This is purely a video around what range I can get out of this car because it's so cold. It's currently just above 1 degree Celsius here. And when I jumped in the car this morning with 100% charge, the range is showing just under 180 miles because basically it's so cold. Hopefully though, I'll get that up. Once we get going, that will increase. I'm expecting a range of over 200 miles on this car, so I was a bit surprised this morning. I have plugged SatNav route in using SatNav and tried to work out where I might charge on my way, and I'm also going to use the onboard Audi SatNav to see how good that is. So I think this should be an interesting test. So I'm finally on my way, a little bit later than planned. Now, the joys of filming in an electric car is it is super quiet. So sit rep, my range on a full charge is currently showing at 185 miles. Now, I'm not sure if that's a combination of it being very cold and or previous driving styles in this car, because I did expect it to be much more than that. My journey, now at the moment I plugged it into Waze. I've got 255 miles to go. I did plug it into the Audi SatNav, and I know I haven't got enough charge to get there without having a charge stop. And the Audi SatNav was going to take me a way that I'd not been on this route before. I've driven this road and this route many times, and my plan, having checked SatMap and so on, was to stop at Telford Services because I know there's a charger there. I've used it before, and I'm pretty sure I can get there on this charge. And if not, there's another one up the A34 which is on my way. The other thing I've done this morning, because I haven't done long journeys in an EV for quite some time, is I headed over to my smartphone to my myriad of various charge network apps and made sure I logged onto them all, that my payment details were valid because I've changed my credit card or my debit card since the last time I used them, so that they're all ready to go. And I've got most of the major ones. So all the B road is done for now anyway. I'm on the A34, driven through snow. We didn't get any snow where I live at all. In fact, yesterday was a beautiful, bright, sunny day. Good job really, because I was filming with that McLaren. So, sit rep. I have 150 miles of range. I've done 34 miles so far. And I am still at a puzzle as to why the range of this car is so poor. I really did expect it to be, I don't know, 230 miles, something like that, which I know if you're a Tesla owner, that's still quite low. It also looks like we're going to be doing 55 miles an hour because there's a wide load blocking both lanes of the A34. Brilliant. Who on earth thought it was a good idea to drive a vehicle like that down a road like this in the middle of the afternoon? Why aren't they doing that in the middle of the night when we're all asleep? Mind you, I suppose we should all be on lockdown. There's lots of cars around. Anyway, cracking on. Now then, as we're stuck behind this wide load, I am going to try something, because I always berate car manufacturers for not having the SatNav integrated with the charge network as much or as well as Tesla do. And I'm currently using Waze because I really like Waze. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over to the Audi SatNav. Now, when I plugged the destination that we're going into the Audi SatNav before, it did take me a really weird way. And now I've kind of committed to going up the A34, M40, M54, or sorry, M6, M54. I'm hoping it might take me a different way, so I'm going to basically stick it in here now.
The route is being calculated. The destination is on a limited access road.
One of the things it tells
me. Follow the A34 for 17 miles.
Okay, will do. One of the things it allows me to do is my charge state isn't good enough to get me to the destination, so it's now going to find me a charge station on the way, and it's found one. So it's found one. Basically, I will get there with 37% of charge left, charge for 38 minutes, and then I'll be able to get to my destination with 19% charge. So I'm going to accept that. And we are now in the hands.
The destination is on a limited access road.
Yeah, you said that already, love.
Please follow the A34.
There we go.
Please follow the A34 for 16 miles.
Shut up. Right, how do I turn the noise off? So there we go. Let's use the Audi SatNav. So I'm going to be taken to this Genie charge point. I think I've got Genie. If not, I'll have to get it when I get there. Good. Right, we're now at the Mercy. Let's put this car properly to the test, because at the end of the day, if you want to do a journey that's more than a couple of hundred miles, you need to find a charge point on your way, and for most people, it's the SatNav in the car. Okay, sit rep, we are 110 miles in, and I am 1.5 miles away from my charge stop. So with a bit of luck, just up here on the left-hand side, there is a DC charger, fast charger, that I'm going to stop at and get some juice. See, this is the problem. Is where on earth is this charge point? Right then, I can't find the charger that's on this map here, so I've gone onto SatNav and found a charger not too far from me right here. And the really cool thing, what am I here? 1.4 miles away from a Shell charger. So I'm going to use Waze to get there. So this is my challenge. This is my big challenge, is that, you know, you put your faith in something, you know, and I shouldn't have to be getting Waze out and finding how to get there by Waze. I should just be able to do it by the car. And this is why people don't buy electric cars, and it infuriates me. It really does infuriate me. Now, where am I now compared with that? Ugh. So yeah, it's behind me. It's 3 minutes away, 1 mile away down there. Maybe the SatNav in the Audi just had it placed incorrectly. But there's a Shell charger back there 1 mile away. I mean, I'm panicking less now. I've still got 80 miles of range. I've not got massive range anxiety, but this is the thing, you know, when you plug a destination into your SatNav and it says you don't have enough charge to get there, but go here on the way, it should take you right to the charger, not just say you have arrived and there's no charger in sight. That's just not good enough. And until that happens, people aren't going to buy electric cars. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why one brand can get it so right and everybody else is playing catch up. And it's because one brand invested in the infrastructure themselves. It's their infrastructure. See, the Audi SatNav said it was here, and it's not. It's up there by that roundabout. Hopefully. but I had to go onto SatNav to find that. So now the next thing is, obviously it should be at this garage. The next thing is there a charger there? Now I've used Shell chargers before and they're normally really, really good. Is there a charger there, and is anything plugged into it? Because hopefully it will be okay. There's the electric charge point. What's that? Is that the chargers there? There we go. Charge point. Electric vehicle charging. Come on! I'm hopeful of this, because these charge points by Shell, you just use a debit card. It should be super easy. Right, let's go and charge the car. So I've presented my card. I'm now going to select the CCS fast charger, and I'm going to plug it in. So that's this one, 50 kilowatt. Success. Okay, so I'm plugged in, we are charging. A couple of little things. Firstly, these Shell recharge stations are brilliant because you just use a debit card. I hadn't used one in a while, so I just had to remember the process. Zap your card, select which type of charging. So this will do the, there's 3 different charge connectors here. It will do AC if your car only does that. It's got the CCS 50 kilowatt DC and the CHAdeMO, or however you say it, but I've got CCS on this, so it's now charging at 50 kilowatts. And then I just had to rearrange the car because that cable wasn't very long and it wouldn't actually reach. But I've got some charge going in the car. I should be here for about 45 minutes, I think. So I'm going to go and grab myself a coffee. Oh, the staple of any decent road trip, Doritos and Cadbury's Twirl. Is anybody else addicted to Cadbury's Twirl? I honestly think Cadbury's Twirl are basically like the, I don't know, it's like the cocaine of the chocolate world. So I've now got, and this is the joys of, in fact, 2 things. First things first. Sanitize. Yeah, the joys of this. So I've got, what have I got here? 58 minutes I'm going to be here. And I think that's going to be 58 minutes to a full charge. So I might not stay 58 minutes, but I don't need to stay that long. But it would be quite nice to get a good full charge. I've calmed down a little bit now. I really do think for mass adoption of EVs, it's got to be easy. And people who've been driving cars are used to rocking up at a petrol station. They're easy to find. You rock up at one, you fill up and off you go. And it needs to be the same with these. And the challenge with a lot of these apps, whether it's an in-car SatNav or whether it's an app, is you can see that there's a charge point, but you don't know exactly where it is. Is it at a garage? Is it at some kind of public place like a car park? Some of them are at like council buildings or schools or garages and things. So you're not quite sure, and that just adds to the anxiety. And then when you commit to that charge station, now luckily I had 70 odd miles left, but I committed to it, got there, and it wasn't there. And then you have to stop and you have to get another app out. That's just not good for me. So as it happens, I've found the Shell. Now these Shell chargers are brilliant. I'll be interested to see how much this charge is going to cost. But I like it because you don't need an app. You can just use your debit card, zap your debit card, and then choose which one of the chargers you want. This card does 50 kilowatt charging, so off you go with CCS. And it's super easy, and then you sit here and have a coffee while you wait for your car to charge up. It's a bit dull. Might have to go and get my glasses out and do some social media. Oh, burr. Right then, that's it. So I've charged to 91% of my battery. That's enough. I went a bit beyond the 80% because I just wanted a bit more range in because of the plans I've got this week. So that's helped me. So I've now got sufficient range to get to my destination. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this at all, but I have, what have we got, 101 miles to go to my destination, 183 miles of range, no more range anxiety. So I've put Waze back on and I'm going to crack on to my destination. Now then, I have arrived at my destination. Not sure you can even see me, it's that dark. Bit of a sit rep, good journey. I've got 70 miles of range left, but I've done 214 miles, or 213.9 actually. Since I was fanning around with the car at the beginning, it's basically about 5 hours. 5 hours, it says 5:55, but I think I had 40 minutes on the trip before I left. And I've averaged 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which I don't think is too bad because that's better than the long-term trip of this car. But I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I shall see you tomorrow because after work we've got to do the return journey, but hopefully more of that is going to be in the daylight because I found out a few things about this car that I quite like actually. Now then, pedallers, that was the end of a day. Now, anybody who's got any geography idea will notice Welsh road signs. I've actually been up with the guys at Electric Classic Cars and Moggy filming some bits for a video that I think by the time this video goes live will have already hit the channel. So this car has been on a 22 kilowatt charger for a bit of today. So I have now got the range back up to 156 miles, but that isn't enough to get me the 250 miles all the way home. So I know that I'm going to have to stop, and my plan is to basically do the route that I did to get here in reverse. So I'm going to head back to just near Cheltenham and try and find that Shell charger, get a 50-minute charge in, and that should get me home. So I'll be going a couple of hours, and I am about a mile away from my charge stop. Still have 61 miles of range, but I'm going to stop here for maybe 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Now, interestingly, I have come to exactly the same charge stop as I used on my outbound journey, but I've been thinking, I think a lot of EV owners who do the same journey regularly will probably do that. They'll probably get to know where fast chargers are that are easy to access on the right network, and that aren't too inconvenient to stop at, and they'll kind of maybe plan around them rather than taking the potluck of hoping that the SatNav is going to say, yeah, it's here. I'm really hoping now though that there's no car plugged into this charger, because I've kind of got it into my head, and some people say, oh, you know, it's nice, you can take a 45-minute break from your journey, have a coffee, have a relax, especially on a long journey. Well, that's all very well and good, but I can't get away from thinking it means I'm going to get home 45 minutes later than I would have done had I not had to have a charge. I know that's probably not the way to look at it, but that's certainly the way I'm going to look at it. And the good news is the charge bay is empty. Hurrah! Whoa, stop just there. I need to tell you a little story. The week after I shot this video, I did exactly the same journey, but didn't have my cameras with me. I pulled into the same garage, aiming to stop at the same charge stop, and literally as I pulled in, somebody plugged their car in for a 1 hour charge. So I'm sat there thinking, right, that now means 2 hours of charge. I went on SatNav, I found a 50 kilowatt Ecotricity charger about 30 miles away on the M5 at a service station. I drove over there, plugged in, went in for a coffee, came back out, and the charge had failed. For some reason, the charger kept disconnecting the car. I tried 3 times. But this is the problem. Ecotricity, utterly dire, not maintained, very, very poor. I'm now stuck with the problem. I then went onto SatNav again, found another 50 kilowatt charger. And the challenge with going to Wales is there aren't a huge number of 50 kilowatt chargers, and I finally found one. It was actually tucked away in the corner of a car park, but it was on a different charge network to all the apps that I had. So I had to download the app, register, upload my card details, and eventually pay for the charge. And I got charged and I was on my way, but that is the problem. That is the problem. Charging infrastructure is utterly rubbish. Anyway, back to the film. See, I'm getting the hang of this. That literally was real time, didn't take very long at all. And I know any EV owners are going to go, look, it's charging a car, it's really not that difficult. Now, to a full charge, it says here I've got 1 hour and 9 minutes. I am not going to wait 1 hour and 9 minutes because, let me just shut the door. I'm just going to quickly check on Waze to see how far my journey is onto the barn. How many miles I need to basically work out. 111 miles. So as soon as I've got about 140 to 150 miles of range, I'm going to crack on, I think. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a coffee. See you shortly. Right then. So in for 43 minutes, that was 36 kilowatts of power. I reckon I've got enough range to get home. He says, hopefully. Let me have a quick check on my SatNav. Now, I doubt you will be able to see this, but I am home. I got home with 16 miles of range left. The car's been having an absolute div for the last 30 miles going, charge me, charge me. But I am home. I think I judged that perfectly. Right, I desperately need a wee and a glass of wine. Well, good morning, you join me. It's obviously the next day and I've just done a very important thing. I've just dropped the pups off at the groomers. So yes, last night I got back and I had 20 miles of range left. So I judged my time at that charge stop perfectly. Although I must admit, I did it probably a little bit too perfectly because I did have a bit of range anxiety all the way home. I knew I had a positive delta of about 30 miles, but I didn't know how accurately the range estimator was on this car and whether it would actually end up being that or whether it would suddenly get from 30 miles to go to 0 like some cars do. But it wasn't too bad. I think the main disappointment for me from a car point of view is the range of this car isn't nearly what I expected it to be. I thought it would be 230 to 250 and, you know, to only get 180 miles on a full charge. And I know a lot of that's to do with the temperatures, but I still think for a car in this class, it needs to be doing a range of somewhere between 250 to 300 miles because these cars, the journey profile of these cars is likely to want to do that. It's fine for a city car like an electric Mini or an e-Golf to only do 150 miles because most of the time you're just going to be driving into the town and back or short runs. But this car, you want to be doing longer journeys, so I do think the range is disappointing, but I'll hold back all my other comments on the car for my full review, which will be coming to the channel very, very soon. I think the longer journeys and doing more and more long journeys in a car, I think you would get more attuned to it and less stressed about it, and I guess you start to, you know, to really be able to plan and not really worry about it too much. When you're new to EVs, you're always worried, are you going to find a charge stop? Is it going to be working? Is there going to be a car plugged into it? You know, I think that Shell station was brilliant and the charger was great, but there must have been, I don't know, 8 to 10 petrol pumps and 1 electric charge station. So if you rock up and there's already a car plugged in and they've just plugged in and they're going to be there an hour, your hour-long charge stop is suddenly 2 hours, not 1. And that's the challenge for me in owning an electric car, is that, you know, and I guess where Tesla have it right, when you go to a Tesla supercharge rank of chargers, as normally, I don't know, half a dozen, maybe 10, maybe more in some cases. So you've kind of often got that backup to be able to fall back on. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love to know what you think and your thoughts on the kind of the last couple of days. As I said, there are plenty of things I love about this car, but it challenges me at the same time, and I can't wait for the full review because at least I've got lots and lots to talk about. But for now, I'm going to drive home and I'm going to wait for the pups to be finished at the groomers. So let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And as I said, there's a full review of this e-tron coming to the channel very, very soon. And I've still got another week with it, so plenty of learning ahead, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. You take care, guys. Drive safe.